Doug Shaboswell. I live on 304 Slatemore. First thing I'd like to say to the gentleman, I've been living there for 70 years. That was a slate dump. It had humps in it of them dumping slate. When we was a kid, we rode our bikes up and down there. We played Army games, Cowboys and Indians over there. Not using storage in the 50s because it was full of humps. We didn't level that out till the early 60s. There had never been anything stored over there until Fuchs started. And every time he stored something, he was made to take it off because he was breaking the rules. So everything he said, he made up. And I've been living there long enough to prove it. And there's a few more other people that lived in there when that slate dump was nothing but humps. And they'll tell you about that too. If he thinks he can get that changed illegally, he's been using it illegally. If he wants to get that changed so that his Fuchs using something illegally so he can use it legally, I'm going to have the whole township changed up there so we can do what we want that's illegal and do it legally. If you don't, that would be discrimination against everyone up in Gilmore. Tell him, yeah, we'll change the law for you, but we're not changing it for anyone else. That's basically all I want to say.
Could I get a couple questions?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, your name again?
Douglas Chaboswell, Chabasol.
Okay, Mr. Chaboswell, can you just point out for the record exactly where you live?
304, that would be the second house on Slatemore. There's Slatemore right here. You see lot 28, I think that is. Up here? Yeah, right there.
Yep.
That lot above it is empty.
Okay, and have you lived in that location for 70 years?
For 70 years.
Okay, and when did you first observe any items being stored on the properties that we're talking about that issue in this area?
The exact year, I don't know, about 2011 or 12, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And he would use Slatemore to get there, down by that little garage he's talking about down at the corner. There's this huge entrance. But he would come down Slatemore. He got the Slatemore caved in from this heavy truck. He would come up there all through the night, and my house faces the corner. And I'd be sleeping, and they'd come in with their lights and blast right through my window, hit me in the eyes, and wake me up. They'd use their jake brake going down that hill. But they don't need it for that hill. And it makes a lot of noise and would wake me up. And I had to get up 6 o'clock in the morning, go to work, and they'd wake me up 2 o'clock in the morning. He's not allowed to use that there street to go from commercial use, but he did. And if you come up Slatemore, look, there's a great big thumping hole where he, from his heavy truck, going to street. And we have to hit that every day.
And sir, around 2011, I think you said, what exactly did you observe on the property? Were you able to observe what was being stored on the property?
Mostly boxes and trailers. And he would have bulldozers over there and front loaders. And he would run them all through the day, kicking up dust, noise. And the trucks would go in and out of there all till at least 2 in the morning, because that's when they would wake me up. But he had, like I said, down at the end of the lot, he had the area bigger, got to be 100 feet wide close to it to pull in and out, but he made sure he went up and down Slatemore.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak?
Craig Hall, 310 Slatemore, the Riverside Lake. I've been there for 23 years. 2012 is when the dumpster came. The picture he's showing of way back in the day, that's all woods and a field. I moved. The path going around is where the kids rode their bikes and their go-karts and stuff. That's what that was. And people walked around, the kids played baseball around. There was never nothing there. 2012, the dumpster came. We complained, he had it moved. And he tried to have the property rezoned, he was denied that. And then about every, give or take, right around a year, he'll bring something else up there. And then he'll go, we call and complain every time. As soon as it starts, we call and complain. And then again, bring something else up there. go again. And this is the fourth time now. They brought all the stone pillars, there's all kind of crap over there. Boxes for tractor trailer over there.
But they clean it out in the cleaning day. You're not saying?
Yeah, machinery. It's just, the noise is ridiculous. The noise in Beverly Hills is ridiculous. I mean, that's zoned industrial down over hill. Along with that little piece on that corner there, then there's woods. Part of it he's been backfilling. That little blue piece there, part of his other property down over hill, that is woods. And I believe it was 2006 when he acquired the property. That's when they bought the property off the North Star pole. It was all residential, village residential then. That's all I have.
Mr. Hall, just to confirm, these parcels have been zoned residential for as long as you lived there,
As
correct?
long as I live there, village residential.
Long as I live there.
Thank you.
Anybody any further?
Hi, my name is Kimberly Harmison. I live on 3930 Miller's Run Road. When you look at that map and you see Miller's Run, right there directly across in the middle is where I live. So I face, Route 50 here, and directly across from me is this whole area there. In 2010, I married Andy Harmison and moved in with him in that residence. Shortly after that, Mr. Fuchs there was a blue house with a garage next to it. He bought that property, that he eventually tore down that house and left that garage right there. Directly across from me is one small red brick home that he owns that is on that property. So behind that was always a slate dump and there was woods and stuff behind it. So around that time, 2012, 13 is when they brought in all this gravel and everything after they bulldozed that blue house. Then it, became flattened and everything, and that's when all the trouble started. Before that, there weren't like all those trucks and everything. But since then, it was like nonstop. And then at one time, there were at least 50 of those big storage containers. We didn't know what was in it. That's when we called to have that inspected with the DEA, whoever wanted to come in. DEP, whatever, environmental, because we didn't know what was in those. He was given 24 hours to move them out. And then every time you turn around little by little, like he said, they would sneak in. Mr. Fleer over there would be running the front loaders, the rollers, all hours of the day. We went through this before. We've called continually because it was nonstop. But it is residential. It's always been residential, and there's only a blue garage, which he still owns, and a red brick home, which a family lives in directly across from. And that's the whole gist of it. If you would walk up there and see that little blue corner, that's an area that connects down behind there by the railroad tracks where it goes right into the business. But all of that in front of us, that's all residential. And that's what he's trying to have zoned commercial, so that at the end of where we live, there's like 5 houses. Okay, that's Blakemore. That's the next alley. He wants to make that a road to connect up behind us, where he owns on top of that property. And that's the gist of it. What you'll see up there, there is a residential house. And it's still residential, it always has been, and he just keeps trying to sneak things in one way or the other. That's all I got to say. Shady then, and it's shady now. Thank you.
David Lloyd, 3928 Millers Run Road. Mrs. Harms is my neighbor. I'm on the white side there, on the other side of Millers Run. I look directly at this property. I moved in 2006. My kids played in that lot. Mr. Hall used to cut the grass so they could play football and ride their dirt bikes, and I'd like to support what he said. My kids would play ball over there all the time, and the trails were from their quads. Back there we could ride quads and have fun. There was nothing stored over there. Not until 2012, and if you could get that picture up, and I don't want to touch anything here, the dumpster that you saw, we made, or the roll-offs, we called immediately about that. They were in there, we called, he was told to move them, they got moved up behind us up on the hill. There's never been anything else put in there. Just trying to support everything here. It's always going to be the same story. It has been residential, there were woods, the kids played in there. There's nothing that's stored in there. Thank you.
Any other residents want to speak? Gilmore?
My name's Kimberly Campbell Rash. I live at 11 Rockmore Drive. My properties border Mr. Fuchs on the bottom. There are two that are connected there below Mr. Hall's property. I have lived there since 1975. My family has owned that property since 1962. During that time, Mr. Fleer alluded to the fact that there was a gas station on that property. When the Gilmore mine operated, way back then, there was. That has been defunct for over 50 years now. I do believe that when Mr. Fuchs bought the property, he did remove gas tanks. We're thankful for that. However, I will support what Mr. Hall said.
Gas tanks are still there.
They're still there? I wasn't sure. I thought maybe he did, but I stand corrected on that. I will support what Mr. Hall said. As a child, I rode my bike over on the slate dump, which is what we've called it for as long as I remember. My parents rode their bikes over there. The little area between the industrial zone area and that little corner there, off the slate dump, until the early 90s, we didn't have city water. We lived on a community well. That's the location of that well. That land has never, in the 45 years that I've been alive, been used for storage. The Roble family lived there, and in fact, the red brick house that they speak of was my great-grandmother's. That's all I have to say. It's residential.
Anything further from anybody? No?
I'd like to make a motion in regards to application number 2020-0010, motion to deny the appeal of notice of violation and deny a continuation of non-conforming use.
I'll second.
Motion being made in second, all in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That takes us to item number 2 on the new business.